This is Dynamite Headdy, but not the Dynamite Headdy you know. I didn't know this game existed until last week. I wanted to play something on the Master System, and Dynamite Headdy is supposed to be a Genesis classic. Castle of Illusion also had a Master System version, which I recommend to any owner of the console or power-based converter. Surely this one could be good too, right? This game came to Brazil in 1995, and the lack of Portuguese translation isn't the most confusing part. No. What's so puzzling about this game is that it was shipped in the first place. Some may argue the Genesis game was way too difficult just for sake of being difficult. Well, the developers of this version took that concept and tried to execute here too, in form of janky level design full of surprise damage you can't see coming. When you die on bosses, it's usually your fault, but dying on the levels always happens because your gigantic hitbox didn't let you dodge something, or the game threw some enemy at you that requires future sight to avoid. This kind of design is so cheap. There is an entire level that exists exclusively to force players to lose lives their first playthrough. Only positive thing I have to say is most bosses are fair, though 2 of them are just the worst. Take this one for example. How was the player supposed to guess these weird tentacles it has would stick at the walls to expose the weak point? Or how about the final boss? You know, a lot of Master System games that are supposed to be hard do this. Beating the games takes half an hour or less if you know what you're doing, but they always toss the ridiculously broken final boss to force you to take longer. This boss reacts with 3 different counterattacks, but they seem to be random, which sucks. Because 2 of the counters can be avoided if you just stand in the corner of the screen, but one of them requires the most perfectly timed jump of your life. None of these attacks are telegraphed, and if you try to move away from the corners, that's already 2 attacks that might randomly hit you. And this boss takes a while to die. Also, you can take enough hits to lose a life first. In one short playthrough, I encountered quite a few bugs that got me stuck in place and taking free hits, which begs the question, how the hell did this game pass testing? Wait, was it tested at all? Will you look at that. For how small the staff that worked on this game is, they sure had a lot of testers. As someone with experience in QA, I have many questions. But this was over 20 years ago and come a long way since. Unless you're Bethesda Softworks. Anyway, this isn't a bad game if you have the power of clairvoyance. For normal humans, I suggest staying away. You North Americans did not miss anything here. Have a nice day.